Hello, hello.
Hello. There's nobody here.
There's 3 people so far. It's going up. Yeah.
Maybe I should look.
Give it a few minutes, see who's there. If you guys are on, go ahead and say hi so we can start to make sure the comments are all working.
Hello. I see we got one.
Yep, I'm just getting set up on this computer to look at everything too. There we go. Oh, we got Tom, we got Christy. Sorry, it took a minute to get this computer up and running here. So we can start to look.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, there you go. We got CD. How was everybody doing this afternoon? How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm realizing you're way lower than I am.
Oh, that is kind of, there's a drawer in front of me here, so
I'm not so much taller. I'm actually shorter.
You are shorter than me. It's hard to sit up though with the drawer in front of me.
Yeah.
We're sharing Ed's desk.
Yeah.
It's a nicer room. He's got the good decorations.
You mean not really decorated? Lots of stuff.
Stuff from traveling.
Yeah.
Look at that. We got Jennifer Kins, Patricia Raposa. Everybody's jumping in.
Yay.
So it's blocking. We have logo polos now.
And
hats. I guess we should talk about where we were heading that didn't happen with just the traveling husbands in general. And that'll let everyone start to flood in.
Yeah. Well, we changed things a bunch of times.
Yes.
As things changed.
The most important thing, Ed was cleared to travel as of his last oncology visit. So that was thumbs up for us, and we had things that we were planning. And some of you might already know, some of them we were posting about that. Yeah, see, people are chiming in about having canceled trips April 2nd through the 7th. That's exactly when we were supposed to be traveling too, because our anniversary is the 4th.
Right.
We were, originally our Aulani was booked.
Right, and that's our DVC home resort.
Yeah, that's DVC home. I kind of pressured Ed into backing off Aulani from being your first flight, getting back into flying again.
Yeah, it's a long, because it's the flight across, it's probably to California and then over again. But that was a tough one to let go because that's where we got married, and this is the first time we, in the last.
Oh, this is the first year since we got married that we won't go back to Hawaii around our anniversary.
Yeah. And then, so that got changed.
Yep. So then we were going to Disneyland.
Yay!
And we had a whole bunch of fun dining events, tours. We had things all scheduled. We were ready to go.
Yeah.
And we were just waiting for that travel clearance for him to fly because it was just, waiting. We knew it would be, but we still had to wait. And we got the thumbs up, and less than a week later?
Yeah.
We started looking at the environment around us.
And so we don't.
So we decided to back off flights altogether just because if Ed at all didn't feel great, we just didn't want to be traveling with questions. So we had our third runner-up, or our second runner-up, third place trip. We go with that one. Ed's never been outside of the Orlando area here other than Tampa.
Yeah, I never came really on vacation to Florida ever. Besides twice in my life, I went to Disney World, but other than that, I never came to Florida. And so we're like, okay, well, we've been here for a year and a half?
Almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years since we've been in Florida. So we said, maybe we should see things like Miami, the Keys, all those different things. No, I've never been.
Yeah, we have. So I used to live in Miami. I did my undergrad way back when I started in Miami. So I started picking things that I think would interest Ed. We had some partnerships lined up to do interesting tours and things.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to give it away because we're still going to do the trip one day, but there's a great Miami trip that was fully scheduled and planned.
I love the...
You like the sound effects I added to it?
Yeah.
We had merchandise purchased, ready to go because, growing little by little, and we're taking the fun steps forward to the things we love to do. See, Jennifer says the sound effects make the story. Thank you. I agree.
All right.
You can tell who does a lot of the editing. It's both of us. But so right now it's down to nothing.
Well, we can do lots of travel. We can go from this room to the other room.
That's true. I've definitely been seeing some funny things on Facebook where you can do a wine tour in your own home. You just put glasses of different wine in different rooms. That's why you can do a bourbon tour, same way. I can just put the same bourbon in different glasses in the house, and you can experience drinking out of different types of glasses because we only have one bourbon.
That's true.
Because I haven't ordered anything else.
So yeah, we don't. No travel outside of our house except for the daily like short walk around the block kind of thing and dodging people. But
I at the same time I don't exactly have complaints either. Like we're watching movies that. Oh, see, no, I want to interrupt this because Jennifer just said we're technically in Ohio right now because we're on her screen. So we are.
Is that how that works?
Ooh, maybe next week we'll have to do a live stream where if I can figure out how to streamcast, we can go to other people's states and visit with them. That's an idea.
I don't even know what that means.
We can do side-by-side chats with people in other places.
Okay.
And yeah.
Oh, that's a thing.
Oh, see, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So we have places to go. But where I was going, I don't even remember what I was saying. Walks around. Oh, yeah. So we've been home catching up on like movies that you and I both talk about having watched that we like, sharing them with each other. I mean, look at all these places we're in.
Good. I've been to all those places. Well, never.
I'm from New York. You never been to Gainesville? I've been to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So we're getting our travels in today.
Yeah, that's nice because we need that right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could Skype too.
Yep. Canada. All these things.
So yeah, we've been catching up on like movies that we want to see. Don't shame us, but we watched Frozen 2 for the first time yesterday. We can't wait for the stream to just flood and yell at us now.
We have not seen it. We tend not to go to the movies anyway.
I don't like watching movies in a movie theater. I like being able to hit pause, get my snack, get my drink.
I'm
weird.
About 8,000 times in a movie.
Well, a half-hour TV show takes us about 3 hours to watch between the dogs and everything.
So, yeah. But we finally did see Frozen 2. And you didn't love it.
Onward. Yes, when it comes out on Disney Plus, we're going to watch that too.
Yeah.
But I didn't love... I thought Frozen 2 was good. I just would have been fine without it too. I like you said it. It was like a 90s Broadway show, which was kind of funny.
It was a lot more, I don't know. Yeah, it was a lot of Broadway vibe more, which is fine, but it felt there was less congruency throughout some of the storyline, I thought. But who knows?
And I don't want to give spoilers because everyone is getting it on Disney Plus, those who are subscribing in the UK and everything. Because I will say, this week. I
enjoyed it, but I didn't love it.
Same. I would have been fine if it didn't exist, but it was fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We'll watch it again at some point.
So that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been getting things set up in the house that we haven't done in a year and a half of living here. We've been definitely planning the next things we want to do. We've been talking about whether our blog should continue growing strong. You've seen we've been sharing some things on Facebook. Also, if you're not following us on Facebook, Instagram, we're everywhere doing all different things right now, trying to find what is fun and enjoyable for us and what you're all responding to. So on Facebook, I've been sharing a lot of links of things that can bring travel to your home. So some of the things I shared today were these really cool, because I want them and I want Ed to buy them for me. The wooden 3D puzzles from Disney, where you can build like the Disney Parks castle or the Small World facade, and it actually has moving parts.
Oh, I'm sure it's cool.
It is cool.
We don't need another thing of Disney memorabilia.
I mean, I guess that's true. But anyway, I'm sharing things like that. Books that you can read that take you places travel-wise.
Yeah.
Games. So I was asking, and I posed this question poorly as you reminded me on Instagram, party games. I meant more things like games that you can be enjoying right now while you have your family together. So actually, we can jump into some of the questions. Oh, yeah. Jennifer said that's how she felt about Toy Story 4. Got to the end. I liked the end. I mean, we're not going to give spoilers here because Ed thinks nothing should ever be spoiled, even if it's been a decade.
I liked Toy Story 4, but I think that would have been a great time because it was right at the launch basically for.
Oh, it was when Disney Plus was announced.
Summer has been a great Disney Plus draw you over to Disney Plus for people who have already seen the first 3 because it really didn't need a full movie theater sit there for a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. You would have been fine watching it at home. It would have been a great launch for that.
And it would have been more fun because it could have spun off into a whole bunch of other storylines. Like that 3-hour movie could have been an entire series in and of itself for a season, but you also could have had what happened with other toys before and after they entered Andy's.
Yeah.
It would have been more fun. I like the movie. I also thought the animation when you compare Toy Story to Toy Story 4, when we were doing some of those side-by-sides, was unbelievable. So those of you who saw Toy Story 4, where they're running behind all the bookcases with the cobwebs, think about that scene and then go watch Toy Story again.
Okay. I didn't watch them, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw them.
They're all on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Hey, Karen.
There we go. Connecticut,
See,
New Jersey.
Patricia, you can be my new best friend. That is never true. You always need more Disney. Mm-hmm, that's true.
It's down the street.
But
actually, right now, it's nowhere.
Yeah. But. Jennifer, it's not Monopoly. It will cause divorce. We've
never played together.
No, we haven't. But I was going to say, has anyone ever played a game of Monopoly that actually officially reached the end without there being some explosion or something?
Yeah, I think a lot of things tend to actually not abide by the rules, too. People think that it's the rules, and it's often contested. That's another issue.
Yeah. So Monopoly, maybe not. We haven't been doing games. I mean, for those of you that don't know what I do, aside from the YouTube stuff, I'm in the field of architecture. I'm a designer, things like that. So we've just been designing fun homes for ourselves in different places that we like to travel. So we've been having fun in our own.
What else we did?
But yeah, we have the software. Why not? Oh, Karen, she thinks the film lends itself to shorts.
Yeah,
agreed. For Toy Story 4.
Yeah, cute. There were moments that made me laugh, but
Yeah, I'll jump into. And if you guys have questions or anything you want to talk about, throw them into the stream here. Let's get that all going. But in the meantime, I'm going to jump over to Instagram because a bunch of people had questions over there.
Somewhere.
I got them. All right. Oops. Lots of people waving at us. Oh, I know the person who asked this question, I saw his name fly out. Okay, yeah, it's still there. So favorite restaurants in the Orlando area not related to theme parks?
Ooh. So, to be fair, where we live, we're outside of Orlando proper. So we don't have a ton of great restaurants where we are.
Zero.
We have zero.
We have
zero good.
We go to Disney Springs for dinner most of the time.
Yeah,
for pizza.
and that's fine. Those are all a lot of good things there.
But yeah, we don't have anything. In fact, that's the closest.
Whenever we've had family in town, that's where we end up going to eat with everybody. It's just there's a lot of good restaurants, and there's a lot of good, famous chefs that have restaurants there. Yep. So that's not something that a lot of places have in other cities, but. We like. Well,
I just want to give a little bit of geography as to where we are, like shopping wise.
Yeah.
So until just recently, when a brand new Publix, which is our supermarket, and a brand new Starbucks opened, our closest Publix was 20 minutes away, and our closest Starbucks was inside Animal Kingdom. That'll just give you reference of where we live,
which is about 20 minutes.
20
minutes to the gate, and then
parking.
Right.
So that was our closest Starbucks. So now we have some of those things that are growing here, but
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, other than that, we will travel into Orlando.
Yeah, we have to go. It's just that we're west of Orlando, and there are great restaurants. We've been to some of them, but you have to go past Orlando, past all the fun, joy, and traffic, through Disney and Universal, to the other side, which is really Orlando proper area, and get good restaurants. But there are some really good ones. What's the name of the vegan restaurant?
No, Jennifer. The vegan restaurant, Market on South. I'll actually give is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I'll give a plug here. If you guys don't follow the Brookhart Project, Peter and Sarah, they're daily vloggers. They're also Disney vloggers. They're just about every day they end up there.
Crazed Disney fans.
They are 99% vegan. They try to stick to it. I don't know where they're at any given point in time, but they are the ones who we get a lot of the good vegan restaurants from, because at one point in time you had to do dietary restriction for not allergies, but basically, long story short, sensitivities, and we had started with veganism because then you add back in the dairy and the other things.
Sure.
So we found that vegetarian and vegan cooking, you can't fake it till you make it. It's either good
Flavor-wise.
It's either good or it's not, because you can't rely on like the meat flavor and the fatty
Yeah,
flavor.
and I agree with that, because I think sometimes, steak is of its own flavor,
Yep.
a strong flavor. So when you don't have that to lean on, so yeah, we found a very good vegan restaurant. Like we said, the Brookhart Project is there all the time. We also
follow Peter and Sarah.
yeah, they're also super sweet people. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Where else do we like? There's an area called Winter Park, which is also
It's just north of downtown Orlando.
And there are a lot of great restaurants there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
We actually drive all the way up there to get our haircut, which is weird. But
Yeah,
then we make it a whole day of it.
It's over an hour to get to a haircut. But yeah, there are great places, but they're not necessarily where we are.
Yeah. So we haven't explored much of Orlando. We explored the areas that we have to go to otherwise and kind of enjoy those.
Yeah.
Oh, sore topic. Key 83 Ellis. So Jason, I'm guessing the 5K. Yeah. So
You say what, in case anyone can't read it.
oh, true. For those of you that can't see the comment,
Right.
That it was brought up that the 5K that I was doing, the Star Wars Rival Run that I was doing the Cancer Society fundraising for, it was canceled. We don't know if that means Disney's going to be closed. Anyone that tells you they know, nobody knows right now. Our next door neighbors are at the corporate level in Disney. They don't know. So I take everything with a grain of salt. But even if Disney were to be open by then, I had already spoken to Ed. I probably wasn't going to run in the 5K because at points it's putting people in very close proximity. I have to, and we'll touch on this and then we'll leave it. The reason why the social isolation is so important right now and staying in your own little bubble is if I were to go run the 5K and someone there wasn't well, be it anything from a cold to flu to whatever's going on, if I catch that, I bring it home to Ed, who's in and out of his chemo treatments right now. I don't want to do that. So I had said to Ed that I was already going to refrain from the 5K, even if Disney was open. Ultimately, they've canceled it. The American Cancer Society has been awesome. They're providing a bunch of different options to make this about the fundraising versus just the fact that we missed out on the race. So fundraising is opening to beyond the race period. So I think May 30th right now is when they'll close our fundraising. I will post a link in the description after we're done with the live stream today and leave this up for a little while if you guys want to go and check out the fundraising page. So I'll get that in there. But you can still continue to donate to the American Cancer Society through May 30th. They have offered that everyone who reaches their fundraising goals, if you will, there's restrictions, can run in next year's Star Wars run. So I guess they worked that out with Disney to allow those registrants to roll forward. So potentially I will do that. Ed and I also talked about, it has been a great experience working with the American Cancer Society. Again, the Brookhart Project works with them as well. Check them out. And I've enjoyed it. It had been fun getting into the Run Disney community, just even on Facebook and everything. So we may do more of that between now and next year's Rival Run, just when everything starts to, ease a bit. I know you were thinking of doing the 5K as you were, not this one, but the 5K.
Yeah. Right. Well, right now it would be just, there's enough going on for me, but I think that would be nice. And like what a lot of people tell us too is for especially the 5K, you're not even really necessarily running it to meet some
Time marker. Yeah, you're not trying to get your best time.
There's characters you can meet and things like that. So I'm like, you kind of walk fast and meet characters. Mm-hmm. Okay, I could do that. And it's for a good cause. Obviously, it is a cause that was already close to our hearts because of your mother and my grandparents and my grandfather and probably most of you know somebody with cancer, or unfortunately, but now I'm extra familiar with it. So yeah, it's a special cause, and I still believe in it, and I'd love to see us continue to raise money for it. And
yeah, Patricia just said yes. Proud of me. We have 4 immunocompromised people in our household. She totally gets the restriction. The other thing with immunocompromised people, Ed puts a hat on. You don't know there's anything wrong with him. When you can't see the scar because his hair is coming back in, you don't know there's anything wrong with him. It's getting there. It takes a minute to see.
It's growing back,
but he can still be out in society. We protect for each other in that regard, and that's why it's so important. And that's where I'll leave my voice.
Yeah,
but yes, Patricia knows that. Karen was asking, is Winter Park where they do the Christmas lights?
I don't know.
I want
Could be Winter Haven.
No,
Everything here is
winter something.
Winter Haven, Winter Park, Winter whatever.
I feel like winter.
'Cause we don't get winter, but.
I know Celebration did the Christmas decoration tour. I feel like Winter Park
Celebration
might have done a
definitely
stay
has it.
home. Karen, I'm not sure, but yes, everywhere in Florida goes big with holiday lights. So certainly Winter Park, whether or not it's what you're specifically speaking of, I'm not sure.
I can tell you that down the street, there's this place called Disney, and they have a lot of Christmas decorations.
I know, I've never seen a neighborhood do nightly fireworks. It's unbelievable.
It's wild within our neighborhood. Also, they are still like the best Christmas light. So, and I love that all the parks are different.
Oh, we're going back to Christmas here.
Sorry.
Buckle up.
Hey, look, there's not other comments I'll talk about. Okay. I think it's so impressive. And I love, my aunt was here, who is in the group, I think. And they were blown away by we only did 2. We just did Studios and we did Magic Kingdom. But
we did Magic Kingdom at night, though. We did Studios at night.
True. And they're just so different. So I think that is fun. But, that's just me.
Patricia, if you think, we can put the link to Disney down below just in case you can make sure it's the place you're thinking of. No, I'm just kidding. But Jennifer said, can we see the fireworks from our house? No. However, we started to realize that certain nights the dog would be outside and would come running back in, and we're like, what's that noise? We have determined that on a foggy, cool night, we can hear Happily Ever After, and it is 18 minutes long, just in case you're wondering, because the finale comes through super strong and it scares our dog. The one, Cal, the light-colored one, not a fan of fireworks and
he's cool with it now.
Inside, he doesn't care. Outside, he doesn't care as much. But even like when they do fireworks for New Year's, just right in the neighborhood, he does not like that. Hey, Nick. There's Dev. Hey, Dev.
Hey, Dev.
Osborne lights. We won't go there.
I have never seen the Osborne lights.
You were here the last year. The Osborne lights were up. We came with Mom. It was her last trip that she wanted to do. But we didn't realize they were they ending a certain day during our trip? And then when we finally decided to go to Studios, it had ended the night before.
Maybe.
And that was
But I didn't know from it because I didn't know what I was missing. I'm like, whatever. And
yeah, so I only did it once. I miss it. Hollywood Studios is the best at Christmas. 100% agree. Although, Karen, I don't know if you were down for Animal Kingdom this year. Animal Kingdom did a fantastic job joining the Christmas.
Oh, some of the walking characters,
the puppets and stuff.
Yeah, those are really.
How
fun.
about were they decorated with all the Diwali lanterns back by in Asia by the?
Oh yeah, that was. I like to think of something different.
It was, and then the tree projection.
But I would still maintain the Hollywood Studios is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I like that mid-century vibe they have.
Yep.
Or not mid-century.
It's like 50. It's 50s and early. It's just interesting.
Yeah, well,
if you wanted to see garland made out of metal, blue and silver tinsel, Hollywood Studios is your place. Like porcelain dolls in the lawn, Hollywood. It was the best. And we have videos I think we hit all the parks this year for Christmas because you were just starting to feel better. So I think we made
at the bare minimum we saw all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, living for us, we agree. We're not even going to. We go to the supermarket and pre-order our food so they can put it in the trunk. Just again, not to stir any fear or anything. It's just a matter of being careful. We still talk to our neighbors from a different distance away. We all walk and talk. I have to protect Ed, meaning I had already stopped going into my office. Everyone got it. Now my office had officially said everyone just stay home. There's no reason we can't work remote. You just make different lifestyle changes right now.
Yeah.
And Ed and I remind ourselves, your grandmother lived in a bunker for how long during World War II with nothing?
Not sustained, but yes, during the Second World War, she was in and out of bunkers. And, if you can get through that, you have to
can sit on the sofa and watch Netflix and do this with you.
I've seen that a million times. People have been sharing that on Facebook. If you can survive that, we think, there's nothing to watch on TV. Yeah, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things we could be watching. It really is not that bad. Mm-hmm. And especially right now, we are at the stage where we can still leave the house during the day. We can walk, things like that. So it's not horrible.
Yep.
We also have a yard we can get sit in, so.
There's your aunt. She was remembering the same stories. Yeah. Also, even she chimed in. This was her first year back at Disney in how many decades? And we took her to Magic Kingdom and Studios. And Her and your uncle love
Yeah, they
Hollywood
loved it.
Studios.
Plus, what you call it?
Oh, Smuggler's Run and
Smuggler's
Star
Run.
Wars.
Yeah.
To see like a grown man smile like a kid. He didn't actually look like he was in a toy place. Yeah. It was fun. Google Hangouts, living for us. You guys can still find a way to get creative and have fun. One of the funniest things I saw on Instagram, we follow a family that does global school, meaning she has 2 young kids, she travels all over. They learn to embrace technology for the kids to be able to see the family growing up as they were traveling. They're obviously home right now as well, but it was the older one's birthday. They just set up a whole bunch of iPads and iPhones and computer screens and had everyone join to sing happy birthday. And the funniest part of this mother taking the video is none of the screens were in sync with one another because of the audio delay, and it was hilarious. So you can still have fun in new and different ways.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm seeing.
Your birthday's not until the end of May, but we don't know. And at that point, we might be doing something different at home then.
Yeah, turning all those screens off. I just want to hang out. But anyway, what else we got here? Oh, Karen, you didn't make it down this year. Okay.
Next year,
because I have a feeling the Christmas stuff will be back. It was a hit. People loved it. Troy took Lindsay grocery shopping via Google Hangouts the other day before they got locked down. Yeah, we know where they are. Yep. Technology is a great equalizer right now. That's
right.
true.
We're able to do this. And this really is great because we're at least able to say, oh, other people are out there and they're responding in real time. And
now I don't know if Dev is still on here, but he was before. You need to show me how to do having other people join the chat because YouTube, as technologically advanced as both of us are, it's hard enough for me to get a live stream set up because I just don't understand.
Getting old.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, I do want to figure out how to maybe have you guys all join us some point or another. Like we said, we can go visit Jennifer in Ohio.
Sure.
We can start to go into each other's living rooms.
I spent a night in Ohio. I was driving cross country, but that's where I stopped for the night. So I've been to Ohio. There was a Texas Roadhouse I ate. It was right there, and then I had been driving all day. There's my story about Ohio.
Hate now coming from Jennifer. Also, some of these postcards on the wall are from Jennifer. I have a feeling we're going to get like nasty ones now.
She's got a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny when we said when Ed was recovering, we're like, send postcards from everywhere you've traveled. I have to laugh. Jennifer, who's on the chat here, say hi to everyone. She bought, you might have to tell the story, but she bought a stack of postcards and just started sending you one every couple of days. She like bought travel postcards, which is the best.
Yeah, I was like, what's one up there? I was like, oh, somebody went to Venice. Oh, no, it's Jennifer.
Oh, that one's one of them.
Yeah, right.
But yeah.
Yeah, she's random travel, which was funny. But
it definitely made you laugh when I would stop at the post office and goes up. She needs to get back on the wagon and have more fun. Yes, please. That was the best. Yeah, exactly. Everyone should start sending everyone postcards. As much as we have technology, there's something fun about that.
Yeah. Oh, although for us, because it's P.O. Box, we have to figure out how to get into the P.O. Box when there aren't people around, at least. So in the evening.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I have to see if I can get it.
Put some gloves on and take them off.
All right. Favorite Disney meals and snacks? I'll take a nap while it does this.
No. Okay. So 2 big things. My personal opinion is, and some people may disagree, Magic Kingdom has the worst food. That's just a standard in my. I'm like, oh, there's nothing I want. No meal I want. They have fun snacks, but not meals.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that some of the best food is Animal Kingdom, and we actually were my sister was in town recently, and we went to Satuli because it was very easy over in Animal Kingdom in Pandora. And I mean, I got the rice and beans, the chicken right off the wood fire, and the sauce on there. It's a big, plentiful amount of food. It doesn't feel as heavy as a burger and fries, and it has a different flavor. I think that's great. It's like $12 because you're at Disney, but would probably be $10 at Chipotle, and it's at least different.
And that's actually an interesting thing to point out. When your brother-in-law looked at the menu and he's like, oh, I don't know about this. I'll find something, though. And then we're just like, it's just like Chipotle with weird names.
It is.
It's exactly
completely. You're right. That was always your feedback. The first time I went there, you're like, oh, I think people would be more scared because it sounds different. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's just chicken.
Everyone keep it a secret because it's not really super crowded when we go. And yes, we will go into Animal Kingdom if we grab a safari fast pass for safari and dinner there. Or the second place.
A huge, huge favorite for me is Nomad Lounge. It's literally right next to Tiffin's, but hidden in the background, and you just walk right up. And everybody in our party, with my sister and brother-in-law and the baby, they all like the food.
Yep.
It's just delicious. The yucca, right? Not yucca. I would say yucca. It's yucca, I think.
Yeah. Now you threw me because you said both.
The yucca fries / yucca fries are outstanding. My favorite, and you can only get them there. And I don't know why they don't sell them everywhere because they're so delicious.
I would walk around with them.
Also, in terms of cocktails, for those who do drink, their cocktails are amazing. So totally, those are the foods I like.
I think we have a vlog half or two from there because it's always a component of something else.
It really, and we have a lot of friends who who frequent the park often, and it's also one of their favorites.
You look like a giant because of the way we're
I know.
For those who join late, I have drawers in front of me at this side of the desk, so I'm like leaning in.
There we go.
Yeah, now we kind of look the same. Karen loves Nomad, thanks to us. The poutine was something newer added to the menu. I like it, but I add the sauce from the ribs and dump it on. Whatever the
gosh, those ribs are really good.
Yeah. But she also said Impossible Burger. Here's a pointer of something that Ed doesn't love the Impossible meat in particular.
I like a lot of vegan alternative meats like that. I think I've determined Impossible versus like the Beyond or any of those. I think Impossible is my least favorite. Sometimes I don't like it.
So I like the Impossible Burger. So what I do is the regular burger, the regular sliders on the Nomad menu are amazing. They'll make them with the Impossible patty if you ask, with the onion jam and everything.
But those, Nomad, high recommendation. Was there anything else to that? Any other part of the question?
Favorite Disney foods and treats. That was it. You want to go for? I have my one favorite that just sticks with me for a long time now, and you hate that I like it.
It is an option at Magic Kingdom.
That is true, even though everyone agreed with you, Magic Kingdom food. Oh, hold on, sound effects for those of you who enjoyed it. At Sleepy Hollow, the spicy chicken waffle. I like it. What can I say?
It's nice that it is a nice location because it's right next to the castle. It's okay. It's all right. It's, Jennifer's loving those sound effects. See,
You're welcome.
You should have done sound engineering as a major, I guess. What else?
That's the majority, lumping together things that I have here. Love this way. Yep. See?
Mac
and cheese at Friar Nook. Is it mac and cheese right now?
So sometimes Friar Nook's the one where sometimes it's tater tots and sometimes it's mac and cheese.
Yeah. I think it was it? No, it was mac and cheese last time we went.
It might have been. Yeah.
You and I got it.
It was to us, it was super, super, super cold out. And I was just like, I just ate whatever. But I think it was tots. It was tots because it was it was basically like a loaded baked potato, but on tater tots.
Is that what it was? I honestly don't remember. Also,
no, I'm wrong. It was macaroni and cheese on top of the tots. And they put sour cream. Also,
all of the things Ed is saying were probably something served at Friar Nook over the past 6 months.
Yeah. I think they kind of just take the same things and spin a wheel and say, perfect, that's what's on there.
Mexican at Pecos Bill's. So Pecos Bill is kind of our go-to when we have to eat a meal in Magic Kingdom. That sounds terrible.
Okay, to be fair, we are DVC members, so when we do a DVC Moonlight Magic, part of that includes a free meal there. And so we'll tend to choose Pecos largely because it is a massive amount of seating area, and so that helps to benefit. Whereas like a lot of places you can't even get into. It's not my favorite. We lived in Arizona for 4 years. It was
and also the hardest thing right now. We can't go to the Fixins bar with Ed. Just like open buffets like that are not advised for someone going through chemo, just because whatever. So we would usually get the nachos and then just load them up and we could share, but I can't load them up now as easily.
But it's all right. It's an option.
See, that's what Jennifer loves. Exactly. So that's where it's the best. You can take those easy things and make them into something. Oh, Michael, did we enjoy living in Arizona? We'll jump to that question next.
Okay. We're going back to that.
Are we still on Disney food?
Okay, yeah.
Everyone's saying they never tried the spicy waffle because they thought it might be too spicy. It's more of like a sweet and spicy. So it's Disney. It's in the park. It's not super spicy. It's kind of a little kick.
We like spicy. Yeah. But like I said, again, that kind of ties into Arizona too. But it's not spicy to me. It is literally just the buffalo sauce. Wherever you would go to a place like a Buffalo Wild Wings, it is the least spicy.
Mm-hmm. It's more of a flavored sauce with like that sweetness and tanginess. Try
and
it.
There's stuff on top of it.
Coleslaw and stuff on it, so it miles it down.
It's just okay though.
Sometimes it's the psychological component.
Okay.
Key 83 Ellis. Beyond Burger is the best burger, and he or she's been a pescatarian for 13 years.
Yeah, Beyond's really good. Yeah. And that's why, we do sometimes like fast food. We can't now, but when they came out with the Impossible Whopper, I was like, all right, we have to try it.
I like it.
You love it because you like the Impossible. I do not like it, so say
it tastes. It almost has like a nutty.
It has a nut flavor to it, which I would normally be okay with, but it's too much. It's good in the little sliders in Nomad though, because they are small and there's so much flavor that it kind of mixes well, and it's the onions and stuff kind of work well with the nuttiness.
So this is a good one to make our segue over to Arizona. Jennifer mentioned part of the reason she loves Pecos Bill is because of the guac on the bar. Wasn't guac taken off the bar and now it's an add-on? I vaguely remember something about that. Fact check me, but I think the guacamole was taken off the Fixins bar and you have to pay for it.
I haven't been following the guacamole.
And if I'm right, Jennifer, this is for you about guac being charged. Okay.
Yeah, guac should just be included because Chipotle, same thing. It's like, why are you paying extra for guac? I mean, avocados are expensive, but
yeah, Columbia Harbor House is good too. We like sharing things there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Arizona. I miss it.
Question: did we
like living in Arizona?
I loved it. I often talk about how much I wish, in some ways, that we had stayed. I thought it was just like acting about the guacamole. Arizona's beautiful. We were in like the Phoenix area. We're in Phoenix technically.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that, when we first met, it was the Tempe,
Scottsdale, ASU area.
It is just one of my only regrets I probably have is that my friends and family, with the exception of my sister, never got out there in the time I was there because it really is just outstandingly beautiful. Sedona is. You won't understand until you go there. It's just
talk about trips being canceled. That was the trip we had scheduled to leave on the day you had surgery. We were supposed to go to Arizona because we don't mind Arizona in the summer. Granted, 120 is hot.
That's hot.
Yeah,
but
we were going to go manage it and do things and show what you could do.
Yeah, and it's also so cheap too. I mean, when I first went to Arizona, by the way, it was because I found on Expedia the dirt cheapest thing, whatever they could generate for a 4-day break because I worked in schools. And it was dirt cheap to go to Arizona. So we went to Arizona in August. And my friend and I were laughing at everybody because everyone's dying of heat. And we said, we're not sweating. It was great. We had the windows down. It was 120 degrees because it was just like hot, but not sweaty.
So I'm going to interject. And I just want to answer Michael, who was asking, are we asking questions on the topic? Ask whatever you want. We're scrolling back and forth. We're chatting.
Especially if you want to talk about Arizona. Yeah. I'll talk about Arizona all day. I would sell people if I could.
So the funniest thing is I met, you moved a few months after that trip. I met you right after that. It was November-ish, going into the winter. And I had moved my mother out there the year before. We're cold. We had been through a winter already. We're cold. And it's like, it's not cold. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. And I'm like, it's freezing. By the next winter, you were frozen. Yeah. It changes you.
Yeah. But to be fair, I moved, end of October. Halloween, I moved in to the apartment I had. And, it was just starting to get really towards that cold side in Connecticut, not in Phoenix. I distinctly remember my first night. I didn't know anybody, and I went to a brewery. I sat in my shorts outside on the patio.
This is actually where we had our first date.
Right, it ended up and I sat there and I watched the beer, and there was people out there shivering with heat lamps all over them with the flames, like the heat lamps that shoot the flame on top. I had to have them turn it off because I thought it was just so...
I still have them turn that off, even here, because they're just too hot.
Yeah, especially that it's dry, so it's like this dry flame on you. But
also, just to answer Patricia, 120 you would melt. One thing that is amazing is at 120 degrees, when they turn those overhead misters on, it doesn't get you drenched. It actually takes the temperature out in the shade. As long as there's still air movement and stuff like that, it's actually manageable. So don't cross the parking lot to Walmart at 120 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Here's how you look at it, or the way I would, after 4 years living there. 120 degrees is sort of like what 80 feels like here, I would say.
When you're local, it's uncomfortable, but you learn how to manage it.
Yeah. So it's like, how you walk out,
it's the flip of winter.
Let's say 90. When you walk out here and it's like 90, like, oh, it's too much. That's 120. When it's 100, you're like, oh, this is great. It's like 80 and it's warm and sunny and you're not sweating. So 100 degrees is really not hot there.
Also, it's the idea of if the sun's hitting the ground, that heat also comes back up off the ground to you. If you're in the shade or under trees or on grass, it's very different. But when you park your car and walk into Walmart, that 120 feels like 250. So yes, even when we would go for walks at night after the sun went down, sometimes a lot of the neighborhoods have cinder block walls around them, just privacy walls. You can feel the heat radiate off of those and off the sidewalk.
Yeah. So there's good and bad to everywhere you could possibly live, but I loved dry heat.
I loved my drive to work where I would pass these rocks that look like they're
crazy mountains all through the middle of the city. You're coming through.
I just want to answer a question because we touched on it earlier. Rainbow Disney fan. The race was officially canceled by Disney. We were talking a little bit earlier. I had told Ed I already wasn't going to do it, even if Disney was open, because it put me in too close proximity to people to potentially bring things home to him. So Cancer Society is doing great things to fix that. Like I said before, I'll put a link down there so you guys can get the update on all of that after we post this stream back up.
See, I would have talked about Arizona forever, so it's good to cut it off.
Jennifer, she wants Michael to ask questions that will result in me doing a thumbs down with the sound effects.
Let's see.
How are we feeling, and are you still on radiation and chemo?
I am still on radiation and chemo. Well, no, I'm not on radiation. Sorry. Radiation was a short period of time, so it was just 5 days a week for
6-7-ish weeks.
Yeah. So that's long done. The chemo, now we are on what's called maintenance chemo. So it is 20.
It's a 28-day cycle. So officially a month, if you will, 28 days. 5 days you take pills before bed. And his chemo has always been pills. So it's a little bit different than what you might be picturing when you're chemo. Still tough on you. And then 23 days off, and then 5 days of pills, 23 days off. And you just finished the third cycle with everything going around right now. We're going to talk to the doctors without going too much in depth. A lot of your markers and things like that, chemo is kind of like an added bonus. We have to see if it's worth having you potentially immunocompromised in what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So
the answer is yes, we're going through it, or we're going through the chemo, done with the radiation, and the chemo it was much worse than I thought it would be. Because you do chemo concurrently with radiation, and that was fine.
It was a lower dose.
Yeah, and then it was almost 4 times the dose when you actually do the maintenance. And we've had ups and downs and lots of aches and things like that. And but the good thing is we have a good team of doctors they can give you medications to help with the symptoms as much as they can. And there's been a couple days or even hours that were horrible. The first couple times really stopped me. And from what I hear, it does kind of get worse as you go. But the current point right now is that we would stop in after 6
cycles.
6 cycles.
So
We've
you're
done
halfway
3.
down right now.
So we don't know what the world's going to look like right now. We're going into the hospitals and things like that. But right now, that is the goal. We are going to try our best to get through it if we can.
We also have no problem isolating at home. We've been sitting here doing so
Sure.
So we got used to it post-op. We got used to it with
Right.
So for us, it's not the hugest change of pace if needed. Even if it needed to be the next 3 months we sit at home, like we could commit to that if it was possible.
Yeah,
that it was
I will
optional.
never say it's easy. I would never tell anybody that it's easy. But I also wouldn't say it is not the worst thing you've ever been through, probably, because probably other people are definitely having it worse. But I don't like to minimize that it still stinks for me. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I always have to remind out of that too, is when he says, well, it could be worse. There are people going through so much worse. I'm like, yeah, but you still are going through it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going through something that's not that fun. But we're going to get through it, I hope. Well, I mean, not like that. I mean, hopefully we'll get
Hopefully
through
we
it.
can finish the 6 cycles.
Right.
Yeah. Who is the better cook, you or me?
You.
So when I first met Ed told me if he cooked, I'd be dead. You can find good recipes, and with space and time, you can execute them really well. So Ed actually has been the recipe finder and the sous chef, if you will, for some of our greatest Thanksgiving foods.
Yeah, we do make a very, very good Thanksgiving. Like,
except not since
wildly
we
good.
moved to
Not
since
in
we moved to
Arizona.
Florida. So this is just a funny story. You want to talk about living in different places. Arizona, we know it's dry. I used to use this recipe for the turkey.
It's a great one.
You're supposed to start basting it every half hour. After the first half hour, it's supposed to produce, juices in the pan. Well, in Arizona, it didn't. So we learned, the recipe also says if it doesn't have juices, you melt butter and turkey stock, and we learned to do that
Very
for like
healthy.
the first, it's Thanksgiving. For the first 2 hours, I'd be making this concoction to add to the bird. Here in Florida, the first year I did it, a half hour in, the bird's swimming in the pan.
Yeah.
Totally.
Florida and Arizona are just a little different.
Also, oddly enough, nobody cares about this, but we don't have a convection oven here. It took me the longest time to realize our ovens were different too.
But either way, we do have a very good Thanksgiving. So.
And for those of you that didn't know, I was raised Jewish, so Ed and I celebrate a lot of the Jewish traditions and have fun with those. Passover's right around the corner, and
So
there are
we'll
some
have to
good
do-
foods that we'll do for that. Maybe we'll do a Passover vlog.
A Seder by ourselves.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Maybe.
See, Patricia's right.
Maybe
No
you're
calories
right.
on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
No calories.
Perfect.
All the butter you want.
There's a lot.
All right, I gotta scroll back a little bit here. Thank you, Rainbow Disney fan. Alex lived in AZ most for life. Kind of missed the dry heat. Oh yeah, August in Florida humidity as opposed to August in Arizona. Different planets.
Yeah. It's gonna really soon in Florida get really, really gross.
Yeah.
And inescapably gross. Just everywhere we turn, you're sticky.
Yeah.
For 4 years, I could put my
Although-
arm on the table and it wouldn't be like,
Oh yeah, I even went and got a tumbler to have on the desk here so it didn't
no
sweat.
condensation
Yeah.
there. Totally Arizona crushes Florida.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. August in Arizona, Arizona has very unique storms, particularly the Phoenix Valley area. Has very interesting storms in the summer. They're cold monsoons. They come with these dust storms a lot of the time. But if they come early enough in the day, the humidity picks up, the storm comes through. 90% of the time, the storms are right around that sunset time. So when the storm is finished pulling through, it's evening and the sun's down. But when it's before the sun goes down and the storm pulls through and the sun's still up, there's nothing like 110 in that humidity. Remember I said the ground radiates heat? Now the ground is wet and boiling the water back up.
Yeah, quite essentially there's steam.
Yep.
It's like, I was like, oh wow, this is different.
Rainbow Disney fan. They find July and August Florida is literally painful. You're from New England. How far up in New England are you from? Because I'll say, having grown up in the Hudson Valley, it's not
What's
much.
New England?
No, I know.
The
Same northern.
I'm from Connecticut.
You're further south than me. I'm just going with
Right.
But what I was going to say is, it's the same for me, but just depending on the type of day, the sun can feel stronger on your skin. I find that it feels similar.
Here's what I say. The humidity in Florida is a little easier than the humidity in Connecticut because everything has air conditioning here. Everywhere we turn is central air conditioning in Florida. I didn't know a lot of people with central air conditioning in Connecticut, personally. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't growing up. And it was always, you're sweaty, you wake up sweaty. It was gross. Whereas at least here, everything is air conditioning.
See, there's the answer. So Rainbow Disney fans said they're from closer to the shore. I will tell you, Tampa is only an hour and 10 minutes away. I used to commute to downtown Tampa for work. The environment in Tampa, because it's on the Gulf Shore, but still it's water, is significantly different than Orlando. Tampa feels like the humidity comes in fresh off the ocean every day. Orlando, and those of you that have been to the theme parks, the humidity feels like it came off the person's body across the way.
Well,
like
I grew up right
different.
on the coast.
Yeah, the humidity feels different inland than it does.
But it's still gross.
You didn't grow up the coast. You grew up on the Long Island Sound. That's like the edge of the cesspool.
Well, I agree. But it is the coast.
So, I hope your aunt's not still in the chat. Sorry. It's true.
Oh, there might be there was somebody else from Connecticut
okay.
too. We're still counting.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I was right outside of New Haven, so I know humidity and the snow. There's the one thing I'm adamant, no more snow and ice. Mm-hmm. That's my main thing. Yep. I don't ever want to fall on ice again. When your mother passed and we had to go back in January, and I just about fell because I had to grab onto the car because there was just ice. And there's just this ice everywhere. And the ice just never stops. And you're slipping and you're falling and people are hurting themselves. Mm-hmm. People are flying off the road. No, that doesn't happen here.
Yep.
That's worth it. I will take humidity and heat over falling in the ice. Look. Or power lines coming down so you don't have power for days. No.
Troy says preach.
Yeah, right. Hey, especially I guess if you've lived without snow and then you go back to snow, that must be horrible. I couldn't imagine.
Well, when we flew in for my mother's funeral week, also somehow we beat my mother and she left days before us on cargo flights. But she was delayed because of a storm that we flew into. So we were driving up from JFK on the tail end of the storm to upstate New York. And you grow up learning how to drive in the snow, and then you realize that it was something that you needed to test that agility and acuity every year. I had a giant Suburban and I was terrified. I'm like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
No.
Wait. And Pam said the forecast for Connecticut tomorrow is snow.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's only I had to check. It is still March, right?
Oh yeah.
So March makes sense. You can definitely get it.
We've had April storms in the north, yeah.
Although I hear it's not as bad the last couple of years, but I don't like any. I mean, personally, I don't like to ever get below 65, and that's chilly to me. So
I want to take a shift here because I missed this question. We were scrolling from Michael. Is the recovery rate for the kind of cancer you have high? Do you have a good prognosis? Sorry if it's too personal.
It's not too personal. We appreciate anybody asking, I think. I mean, we would tell you if it was, but that's not.
Well, I want to start with the disclaimer of brain cancers are the least studied, rarely found. Think about how often you've had an MRI of your head for them to even find it. Like, they don't find them because they present symptoms that are in the rest of your body, basically, if they are, a primary brain tumor. And because of that, the stats lump so many groups of people together. So when we went to the oncologist, the one thing they said to you is, do not Google, and this goes for any medical condition, but don't Google because the stats lump everybody together. We will talk to you about what your particular surgical success is, where the tumor was, what certain genetic markers are in it, and things like that. So Ed's tumor, even though it has a very generic, name that other people have as well, it's very, very, very custom tailored, if you will.
Yeah.
So now I'll let you jump in with your prognosis and treatment or whatever.
The easiest answer is, I don't know. We don't know. Like you said, there is not data often, and a lot of times you hear these brain cancers and they're much faster things. Unfortunately, for people that they go a lot faster, and that's a lot of times because it doesn't present with symptoms until it's much later on and it's already advanced. So we don't know, and none of the oncologists will wager anything. they don't want to lean on that and say it because it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
But our concern is exponentially higher than theirs. Like your oncologist, we just transferred for just treatment teams to one closer to home here. But when we went for your last scan and everything, and we're both sitting there, and she says to us, "Why are you looking at me like that?" And we're both like, "How's the scan?" She goes, "Oh, it's fine. We don't expect to see anything." So we're on the edge of our seats. Ed's cancer, because of the mark, it was slow growing. It had been there for a long time. The surgical success was as close to 100% as you can get. You can't say 100% with brain tumors because the cells are a different kind of cell, so they can't see it. The radiation showed that it hit all the marks. The chemo has been going. And because of what its genetic makeup was, it has a very high success rate as being susceptible to treatment. So we're hoping for that. So basically she said to us, I don't expect to be having a conversation with you for a decade, maybe more, who knows. Worry about other things getting you before your tumor. So we hope to never have a scam where they say, oh, what's this here? And that's most we can do.
If we do, we'll figure it out as we go.
Yep. Only drive a Subaru. I had a Subaru Legacy. Oh, a snow sneeze. 3 to 6 inches. Mike, where are you from? Because I don't want to visit there.
Well, no, we'll visit when there's no snow.
See, Troy said, for you, it's personal. The oncologists have professional interest. Totally different level of concern.
Yeah.
It's true. They wanted you to be part of a clinical trial, which would have meant you had to go there for your radiation, which meant you would have had to drive an hour and a half each way for a 5-minute radiation appointment. That would have been crazy.
Yeah. And that was what was suggested, and it sounded great. I'm really glad we didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to just trust yourself, too. And whatever that means. We're down in Massachusetts, New Hampshire border.
I saw that.
New Hampshire has really good maple syrup, though. It's my preferred maple syrup. Vermont's good, but I prefer New Hampshire. That's how you know you're from New England, because you know the difference.
Is there a difference?
Yes, there's a difference.
Which state did Aunt Jemima live in?
A factory of no maples at all.
Oh, ice and snow and loss of power. I have some funny stories about this.
It can't be funny.
I mean, it's funny now because I don't have to go through it anymore. So something that we don't have in Florida because it would be called a swimming pool, but a basement. Back in New York, we had a basement. My house that I grew up in. We also would always have every storm would turn to ice, which would then weigh down the trees and power lines and take the power out.
Yeah.
And then immediately after every storm, now with a basement, for those of you who are in those Arizona areas or anyone who doesn't know what a basement is, we had a sump pump in the basement, which basically when the water table raised a little bit, it would keep our basement from flooding. Ours was a finished basement, like it was our family room and stuff. But now you have the snow, the ice, the power's gone out, and lo and behold, the sun comes back out. And all the snow starts to melt. My mother always wanted a swimming pool when we were growing up, and every year she got one at least once in her finished basement. Because everything starts melting before the power comes back on to take care of the sump pump, and you have an indoor swimming pool.
Won't do it.
Jen cracked out loud. It can't be funny. Well, it kind of was funny. It's funny now.
Okay.
You should come to New England in the spring and go to one of the sugar houses in New Hampshire.
So I remember going as a kid. My parents took me. So I definitely have been, because I remember like this big tube where things come out, and I remember it coming out of the trees. So I've definitely done that. And depending on where you live, if you've ever been to the Big E, the Eastern States Expedition, very nerdy.
No, exposition.
Exposition, what did I say?
Expedition.
Different.
Although I'm realizing we do need to do an expedition to the exposition for a vlog soon.
Anyway, there's basically, for all of the New England home states, they have little buildings, all different things, and you can try all of them, and I personally prefer New Hampshire. Don't know why. I just like the taste of it better.
All I know is that I'm apparently being
I've
promised.
also had it in in Quebec area, and they have some very good outside of Quebec.
I'm just holding very high standards for all this that I hear about the Maine baked potato, but
yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah, it's good.
So I'm sure a bunch of people will chime in with this. If the baked potato is a real thing that everyone lines up for,
it is. You have to go to the main house, the main building, and the Big E. And if people know, if my sister were here, she would say it's a big thing. It's in Massachusetts, like right on the Massachusetts, Connecticut.
It's Springfield, isn't it? Is where the Big E is?
Ish, yeah. Like near Agawam.
That's where I used to go to Six Flags.
Yeah, I don't like Six Flags because I don't ride rides. Oh, those rides.
Here you go. Here comes your Big E supporters.
Big E. Because if you know, you know. The Big E's a lot of fun. And they have a hatchery, and you get to be all little chickies. I mean, you can't touch them, but little baby chicks are there. And
also, Aunt Pam's opinion doesn't count. She's biased.
It's because why? Because she's from there?
Yeah.
No, it's good. Yeah, Maine potato is awesome.
Oh,
that's the best thing. The Maine potato and the baby chicks. See, it's definitely a big thing.
All right, so at least other than just commiserating, we do have Michael asking some questions. Thank you, Michael. The rest of you ask questions. No, I'm just kidding. What's something the other person does that either makes you laugh, smile, or feel better when you're having a bad day? Ooh.
Oh, who are you? I think either way, I think we both have a pretty similar sense of humor.
Yes, that's where I'm going to with this.
Sometimes, not being serious when the other person has to be serious is something that makes you crazy, but sometimes it's great.
I'm actually thinking of a particular one like that. I don't know how to explain this other than to just give the example. I'll say to Ed, we'll be trying to figure out where to go for dinner. And I'm like, all right, that's it. I've decided, and I'll pick somewhere he hates. I go, okay, here we go. We're going to Texas Roadhouse because Ed hates like chains and things like that. And your response to me, and we're actually like hangry at this point. We're mad at each other. And you'll be, no, I heard they all closed. I'll be like, all right, well then we're going to Epcot for food and wine. Nope, Epcot closed early tonight. And it's just like, as absurd as absurd as I'm being about these things, he's coming back with these absurd answers because sometimes we all can be too serious and you have to come back and just challenge that. It makes us laugh.
So I think it's just the ability to sometimes laugh at yourself or each other. It's something that we do that is good for us.
Also, the other thing that makes us laugh is we'll make the dogs have our opinion. So I'll be like, no, I don't want to get up and go outside for a walk tonight. Well, Cal and Splinter really think you should do it. It would be good. It would be healthy for you, and they like seeing Daddy healthy. All right, let's get so things like oddly.
I'm turning the air conditioner now.
So yeah,
you talk.
We're sitting. Just so you guys know, in front of us is the door to our den. So we're in in a very enclosed space of the house right here. So yes, please turn the air on. Air conditioning for those of you who have snow coming tomorrow.
Ooh.
Maine is one of the states in the Northeast that Michael has never been to. That's because it's like it's out there. It's like up. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to get to there before you go to there.
It's far.
Yeah.
Lobster baits and things like that.
Jennifer, you never should have said that because now I need it to come true. So Jennifer just said her employee and her are going to make an app called Dinder. It's like Tinder for couples. Whichever place you both swipe right on is where you go for dinner.
Well, that's a really good idea.
I want this. But I want it to only have places Ed hates.
Because what percentage of couples do you think have at least twice a week where they're arguing about what to eat? It's where are we eating? What should we eat? It's a nightmare.
My husband, who could write the code and make the app, told her no. That's why she won't be a millionaire. That's because your husband just probably doesn't want easy solutions for dinner.
Because
this seems like a no-brainer. Like I'm already putting in a purchase order for it. I'll buy it.
Oh, I'll definitely buy it. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah. Although you just said it now to all the people who are watching, so.
Or just keep eating the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's. We have done that. We both are pretty good with leftovers. I know some people do not like leftovers. I like leftovers.
No, that's not true. we're not good with leftovers. I will eat the leftovers from tonight's dinner tomorrow, and then even the day after. That's me. I think it's safe. I grew up doing that. In my house, it probably lasted even longer than that, but I won't go more than 2 days. But if I take something out of the fridge, Ed'll look at me, that's from the day before yesterday.
No.
Yeah, I know it is. Well,
No.
thanks for ruining it for me now.
Sometimes. See, there's another thing. I don't know, is this good anymore?
Ed will also cook and then serve me food and take the taste right out of my mouth before. My mother used to do this too. I don't think it came out very good, but here you go. Why didn't you just let me decide? Yeah. Great shopping in Maine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
that was
lighthouses.
there. Yeah.
Jennifer would only swipe right on Chipotle.
We haven't had that in a while.
Alex has a good question.
Okay.
If you could, I actually want to do this. Like when I retire, if we're here, we don't know where we're going to be living, but if you could be a Disney VIP tour guide, but only in one park, which park would you choose and why?
I think it would be fun, even though I don't ride some of the big rides. I think some of the best hidden gems are in Animal Kingdom.
That was my answer.
So
I'm
I think that would be a lot of fun
for the
to
same
show,
reason.
because
too.
I especially since like I do not ride Everest or any of those things, even though it's the one I wish I could. It would freak me out. I can't. The immense detail in that park blows my mind. I mean, we were there all the time. It's the one closest to our house. We go there. We will just go in, grab dinner, and leave without riding. But I still will walk by and say, "Look at that! Where did that come from?" Everywhere. It's just so detailed.
You took your sister and the baby and everything.
Yeah, and they were blown away.
Mhm.
By the way, I will add that. My sister and the baby and my brother-in-law came down last year. They went to just Magic Kingdom. This year they went to
Just
they were going to go to Magic Kingdom again, and we said, and they were just going to do one day. So we decided to do Animal Kingdom because they said, well, she wanted to go on one fast ride, and we know Everest is everyone's favorite for that, and we decided, and we talked to my friend Chris, who I think is in here, and he was here a few months ago, and same thing, they came down with family, and he said it great, which is said it was kind of the park for everybody. There was everything you could kind of want. Like he loved taking a baby and going on safari.
Yep.
So we made sure to go on the safari, which is probably my favorite thing to just go do.
And we had this time of year, the animals were very active. The baby zebra was running around.
And after a few days to go into Springs and go into spend the entire day at Animal Kingdom, their very favorite thing that my brother-in-law, my sister, and presumably the baby liked was the safari. They just thought it was the best. It was so much fun.
And he was playing in the boneyard.
Yeah, boneyard was great. Yeah.
It was, your sister and your brother-in-law said, even if there was nothing to ride that day, because it was kind of busier, it was just ramping up to spring break, there was so much to walk around and see and do in that park.
I think it's probably the one park that most people would say, I'll skip it because we have a zoo nearby or whatever. That was the reason I gave to my sister, because we didn't know how he would like rides. And it turned out he did not like rides. It was not his deal.
Being buckled in was a problem.
Right here. Right. That was not his thing right now. However, if you ever take him to a zoo, well, just take him to the zoo. Go look at the pretty animals. All that fun. Loved it. They loved the food.
Mm-hmm.
You can get beer and alcohol all through the whole park, which I do think is nice. Some people need that.
Unique beers to Animal Kingdom and things like that.
And there was just so much you can do there that I loved spending the entire day there.
See, Chris even just chimed in. It should be on everyone's list to visit with a toddler.
And that's huge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
So I need to. I chimed in typing because it came up and I knew it would bore you, but it's coming up more and more. That they should fix the Disco Yeti while the park is closed. Well, one thing, from what we know, all construction projects have stopped.
Yeah, that stinks. Because this would have been. It would have been really cool if they could have pushed through and done all those projects they need to do. Because to have people welcome into a new park, like clean,
So who knows how they're going to do a phased reopening? It might turn into 1 park, 2 parks, 3 parks, 4 parks, and they do. We don't know. There's so much unknown right now, but that would have been great. But yeah, Joe Rohde already said no, like officially on Twitter. He said no, it is not getting fixed right now. But what's actually interesting is for those of you that don't know much about it, if you've ridden Expedition Everest, the Yeti just stands still now and they put flashing lights on it. The Yeti was built on a foundation, and then the mountain was built around it. So it's two separate pieces, if I remember correctly. I'm probably getting some of this wrong, but because of the movement of the animatronic and because of how large it was, it started having foundation or support issues, but they can't fix it because there's a whole other thing built around it, the mountain. So it's going to require.
How many books about Imagineering do you have too? So
I can go grab a stack out there on the bookcase.
No. But yeah,
Wild Africa Trek.
We've not done that. So we do need to do that. Is that the one? But do I have to walk across the rope bridge?
Hold on, I just have to pause for Jennifer. Okay, sorry. She wanted to count laugh after I said 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part. You don't. So supposedly we had some people reach out to us that were in town a week or two ago. They were looking to do the Wild Africa Trek. They had asked if we ever done it, and I said I always wanted to. You always were hesitant because there's parts where you do go across the rope bridge or you lean out over the crocodiles strapped into a harness and lean forward. They told us afterwards that was their concern too. One of them had a fear of like heights and falling. You can opt. There's ways to opt out of any of those activities while you're on the tour and have an alternative experience. They said. So
on the ground.
Yeah, you can stay like when you're at the crocodiles. You just don't go out on that walk. You just stay out looking and watch everyone do it. And you just look at the crocodiles.
Does that now take you to the savannah to do the
food?
The food, or is that a separate thing?
There's a whole bunch of different things. So
I would love to go eat out there. Right.
If you've ever been on the safari, when you come around the savannah and you're going up over the hill, off to your right-hand side in the distance there is kind of that like pavilion that it looks like that has a big concrete patio. They do, with some of the tours, they'll do lunch out there. There are African food tours where you specifically go out, you ride through the savannah on one of the other like open air cars, and you park there and you do a tasting menu out there. So there's a whole bunch of different things. I'm now wanting to get more and more excited as we think about parks opening one day. So yes, we need to do some more of these tours when everything opens back up. Again, it was on our plans as you were feeling better. We had some special stuff lined up for the Disneyland trip that never formulated.
Yeah. Food part is awesome. I knew. I mean, for those of you who have gone to really any of the Animal Kingdom Lodge resorts, so Sanaa, Chico, not so much Boma, but
Boma's recommended if you're worried about the food. True. The rest of it because you can taste everything and see what you like.
But the food is delicious, and Tiffin's has some things too. But yeah, they have that like African food, and so good.
Well, we even took your sister to the Mara at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which was their quick serve, and they have just fun things there from regular old flatbreads all the way up to like the African stew, and we all had fun getting different food.
Yeah, and that's also a great thing for people who have family and they either don't have an extra park day. If you can get yourself into Animal Kingdom Lodge,
take the bus over.
There's a savannah out there where you can go look at all the animals, even if you're not staying there and you're not you don't have park tickets. You can still go look at all the animals, hang out. It's really pretty.
All right, so I want to jump away from the Disney for a minute because someone asked, and we can probably tell this relatively quickly because I don't remember most of it. So we talked about our first date before, was our favorite brewery restaurant in Phoenix, but
best burger ever.
How did everything kind of progress? This is I'm trying to even remember because it was so natural and so fast. I just happened to, we both met online, one of the free dating websites because we're both too cheap to pay for anything. So it's successful.
Love. There's a lot of value in love, but not enough to spend $19 a month. That's crazy.
So I had just jumped online. You had just moved to Phoenix like days before.
Yes. For
whatever reason, I guess our interests linked up. Very quickly, since you were looking for new things to do, I had been living in Phoenix. We met up for, I think it was a lunch date, actually. I was sick, too, come to think of it.
You were?
I had a cold, I think, yeah. And then that day we were sitting there, and I'm like, I'm happy to show you around Phoenix. Like, wasn't thinking necessarily anything romantic yet at all. Just, I was looking to meet people, so were you.
Which, by the way, is, for anybody who is dating, I think the easiest way to date is with not that pretense. Like, let's just go hang out and whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be scary.
Yep. And
don't ever want to date again. It was the worst.
no. So I said to you, what do you want to learn about Phoenix? And you said to me something along the lines of, should I give you a popular answer or my nerdy answer? And I'm like, what's your nerdy answer? You said, I really want to see cacti. And I'm like, that's not nerdy at all. One of my favorite places in Phoenix is the Desert Botanical Garden.
It's amazing.
Your sister, but we took everyone.
Oh, it's amazing.
So we went there and spent actually Veterans Day because I had the day off.
Yeah.
And I thank my best friend who was in the military and multiple tours for giving me that day off. You and I spent the entire day together.
Yeah.
And it was winter, so November. It was nice. Spent the day at the Botanical Garden.
That was slightly like, oh, is that a brisk?
Yeah. That was one of the potential sites for our wedding too, but that's fasting forward a bit.
Fast forwarding.
Shut up.
Fasting. I wasn't fasting.
Anyway, so we basically just became inseparable at that point. You were needing to get into a permanent apartment. There was a vacancy at my complex. You then got an apartment at my complex, but basically we're just living at mine. And it just progressed very naturally.
It was pretty much like, oh, great. I know you. Mm-hmm. I met you. Like, it just was like, I mean, it hadn't even been, I hadn't lived in Arizona for not even 2 weeks when we met.
Yeah. And I don't think it moved necessarily fast. The fact that you had an apartment in my complex made our spending time together very daily.
Yeah, it just worked.
Yeah. And then just, I don't remember when or where, like, we realized we wanted to start a relationship. Like, I don't remember because it just progressed, and then we got the apartment, the dog, the house, moved here. Just everything fell into sequence because when you think about it, you realize, oh my God, we've been together. It's going to be 6 years or 5 years. I have to actually do the math because it was the end of 2014. So at the end of 2020, it's going to be 6 years. So it's 5.5 right now. That's crazy. It doesn't feel like that.
No.
So, so that kind of answers that in that we don't even remember. There was something else I wanted to grab here. What type of rider experience would you wish would come to the parks? It doesn't need to be specific Disney ride from other parks, just something you wish they would have there. I like the prospect of a black box kind of trackless ride, something. So basically, a ride that can be sequenced to be unique every time. And I know they're in development of these black box ideas right now.
Okay.
But basically, we were watching like Frozen 2 yesterday. You watch other scenes of like Zootopia, and you're like, very quickly you could be, riding on the sled with Sven and all them up to the Forbidden Forest in much of the same way that you could be on the train in Zootopia if everything around you were able to support that in a trackless ride. I don't know. Something just more dynamic where it could be changing every time. I don't know. It was very specific because I thought about it.
Lovely.
You'd ride it.
What was the rest of the question?
That was the question. What type of ride or experience? Something like that. Like, I love the trackless rides.
Yeah, I like the trackless rides. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I got it right.
I got that, yeah. Oh, no, you know what I want?
I
want Pandora to have different flights.
Oh, that we talk about all the time. Yeah, Flight of Passage, which is still amazing.
Pandora, yeah, Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage is amazing. My sister loved it, even though she has motion issues. It's amazing, but I've seen it a million times. I would love to be like, ooh, new scenes. Kind of like, I always thought that with Soarin', like, that should have other flights too. Like, oh, great, we're going here. Star Tours does that. Yeah. Yeah, I just, but anyway, I like trackless rides. I don't like anything with drops, so nothing too scary or crazy. So I would love
For those of you that didn't see our Moonlight Magic video, it was about 2 weeks ago, watch it, Ed with Pirates of the Caribbean. Drop.
Yes, that drop bothers me.
You know what drop bothers you? You know when you guys get on the Small World boats and it drops off the end into the river?
That's
or the river journey, that's like that's a little too thrilling.
But quickly on trackless, if you go to Tokyo Disney and you go on Pooh's Honey Hunt,
Bouncing with Tigger.
Oh,
and it smells like honey.
It's amazing. That is, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't believe how good that ride is.
Trackless rides, we still haven't been on Rise of the Resistance, so we'll have to get to that.
I won't wait for it. I'll wait till I have a fast pass on the couch.
Well, the app suggests there's lots of changes coming when they open again. So, yes, Boma is great if you want a character buffet, or you want a buffet without characters. Agreed. Natural progression. Oh, us talking about our relationship. I was like, what is she talking about? Michael and his husband got together in 2014, together 6 years in June, married for 2 in April. When in April?
Oh.
Our wedding was in April. We'll be married for 3 years. And we won't be in Hawaii this year for it. No, hold on.
Here you
go. When did we live in Arizona? I lived in Arizona twice. So I started my undergrad in 2000 here in Miami, and then I finished it actually in Arizona because my father had moved out there. I then moved back to New York and then back to Arizona in 2013, at the end of 2013.
Yeah. And I moved in October, the end of October of 2014. So I lived there from October of 2014 until July of
2018. So we've been here, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, they're April 17th.
Oh.
So this is actually funny too. Our anniversary is April 4th, was our wedding date. We had it made, put on shirts and stuff, and our honeymoon. So we got married in Hawaii. There's a whole other story behind that. I know someone was asking to see wedding photos. With our anniversary coming up, we're going to try to put something together that maybe has some of our wedding video. Yeah. We're going to figure something out because we can't get new footage. We have time to edit stuff. So, April 4th. And we got this put on our shirts, and we flew off on our honeymoon to Japan. You know how in America we don't have any floor 13 in buildings, and 13 is an unlucky number? There's no 4th floor of buildings in Japan, and 4 is an unlucky number. Because, what is it, the Japanese word for 4 when slightly mispronounced means something related to death? Something like that. I don't remember what it was. We learned it at the time after we learned that 4 was an unlucky number. So here we are walking around Tokyo Disney with our Mr. and Mr. shirts, 4-4 on the back. Yeah. That was us. We did that.
Yeah, people were not happy. It was like an unlucky thing.
And thankfully, we learned it.
Yeah.
So those are still in the closet too, by the way.
I don't know why. Just in case we're still Mr. and Misters, I guess. And we are.
Oh, Alex was at U of A.
Is that the enemy of Sun Devils, right?
I went to ASU, and I'm an enemy of ASU.
No, you're not.
Any school that wants to charge you to come back for your graduate and charge you out-of-state tuition after they invited you to come back.
Well, A Mountain's pretty.
A Mountain is pretty. Married in April. Okay, so Michael did a separate wedding versus actual marriage.
Okay.
A lot of people do that now.
Yeah.
Like you have the wedding, then you have the big celebration. Where does Jennifer come in with these comments? Well, some people think marriage is death. You were just celebrating that. Fair enough.
Yep.
See, April's a popular month. Lindsay and Troy, April. 17 years ago. Wow.
Well, April's a nice time to get married because most places it's not too cold or too hot, you know. Like even my sister's was June, right? Yes?
Yes. That's why I went to U of A. U of A gave me financial support. ASU gave me nothing. And they're both state schools.
Yeah.
Jennifer doesn't really think marriage is death. Without her husband, she wouldn't eat. So therefore, marriage is the opposite of death. You thrive and survive because you're married.
Right.
Way to turn that around and save it. So with saving marriage as death, there was a question of what's something that the other person does to either annoy you or does annoy you.
I don't know if there's nothing major.
I have one.
I think in New Hampshire, indecisiveness is something that we both have that annoy both of us.
Yes, and it's the way we won't approach our indecisiveness.
I think a lot of it, our major issue is that we are very similar.
Yes.
And so we will butt heads about the exact same thing for the exact same point of view, but for some reason it just feels right for you to say it. Yeah.
But also, we'll push each other's buttons to say it. Like, I'm thinking right now, the one thing that annoys me probably the most, but in a funny sort of way, like we'll laugh about it too, is if I were to ask you, like, do you want to go to Panera for dinner? Instead of Ed saying, why can't you just say that? That's the answer I want. Instead, he goes, Panera? Why would you want to go to Panera? Who wants a sandwich and soup? Pick 2 items from a menu. I'm like, instead of this hour-long discussion that we had where you have to explain why Panera is a terrible place to go, you could have just said you didn't want to go there. That annoys me.
It's not terrible.
See, when I say, why don't you just say, well, it's not terrible. That's what annoys me. Troy was just warned not to answer that question. Hi, Lindsay. Just trying to find the positive for the Japanese. Well, no, that's only if you get married in April. I wonder if they have weddings in April in Japan then.
I'm sure they do.
Probably.
People always get married when it's cheapest sometimes. So.
Is that why we did April? How
No,
did
we chose April because...
Oh, I know why we chose it. Our wedding was not supposed to be April.
Right.
Our wedding was supposed to be Veterans Day weekend of that same year because we knew everyone would have off from school to fly out to Arizona. It was
a random date. We just said, oh, great.
It works. It gives people a 3-day weekend because, again, we're being considerate of other people.
We were started dating.
Yes, November. Veterans Day was that. Yeah. Was that Desert Botanical Gardens Day. So we actually had our wedding scheduled for November in Phoenix, but when we spoke to our wedding party, and this is why they were our wedding party, they're all like, we're going to fly out. We're going to see you for 5 minutes on this weekend. You're going to pay tens of thousands of dollars. Why don't you guys just take that money and travel and do something important to you? And we're like, all right. And as a joke, one of the things I had always said to Ed is I wanted to go to Tokyo Disney. I had seen the models when they were set up here at MGM Studios of like Mediterranean Harbor, and I wanted to set foot in these places. So Ed said to me, all right, for our honeymoon, it was always the plan we were going to go to Tokyo Disney when it was November or not. And he said, well, why don't we include Hawaii and do the wedding in Hawaii and then go to Tokyo? And if we're going to Tokyo, why don't we go for cherry blossom season? And very quickly, November got pulled up to April. So we got married 7 months before we were going to. And we were planning this a little over a year out. So it was like October-ish, I feel like, of the prior year. Yeah. And we're like, you know what? We're just going to do April, and we're going to do Hawaii, and then we're going to go to Japan.
It was good truth. It was perfect.
So I guess that's the downside to trying to do jigsaw puzzles at home, Jennifer. Jennifer just said she's fed up with the puzzle, and being funny is the only thing that's keeping her from flipping the table over. Please don't flip the table. And if you do, please have someone film it and put it on Instagram. Thank you. Panera's nasty. I got a sandwich there once. It was like trying to eat water.
It's all right. I wouldn't say it's nasty. I think it very much need to know what to get, but I never had anything I love.
You see me wrong. The only thing you get at Panera is mac and cheese.
Yeah, because I don't like their sandwiches. And even still, the mac and cheese is not that good. It's all right.
All right, you think we should kind of start to wrap this up? I'm thirsty. I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
We got to figure out, oh my God, we have to figure out dinner.
Don't say that word.
Oh, the dogs are going to hear. Are they even awake? No,
yes.
Cal's sleeping. He just opened his eyes. Jennifer, can you please send us that app so we can decide what we're doing tonight? I'll just put all the inventory of the refrigerator in it, and we'll start swiping.
We'll sponsor it.
Yep. I'm with Ed. You have to talk the place down so it won't get brought up as an option again. But he does that with everything. It's literally anything he doesn't want to do has to become aversive to everyone in the world. I had a great Cobb salad at Panera.
Yeah, there's things. And you don't like the Cobb salad at Brown Derby that much, huh?
I like to digest my own food. So, okay.
It's very minced.
Something that I like about a Cobb salad is I like when all the extra stuff in it, everything but the lettuce, is cut up really and like diced and presented nicely. I don't like that when the Cobb salad comes at Brown Derby and it's presented to me, the lettuce is like diced with everything else in it. It's like someone else already ate the food for me and then sent it out on a plate.
Who wants to chew for themselves?
I'm not surprised that was just said. If anyone would like to be hired to be a food chewer, he'd greatly appreciate it. You brought it up.
Yeah.
And with that, stay safe, everyone.
Yes.
Maybe we'll make this a weekly thing depending on how long we're going to be here.
I've got time.
I'm going to keep trying to edit things that we have. You all saw there was the Hawaii food video from Waikiki. I have one coming from Aulani and the Ko'olina area, from the rest of Oahu. I'm trying to take the vlogs we did and piece them together into like more topical things to help people start to think about where they want to travel next. So we're going to get those together and we'll put something out for our anniversary. And we'll try to keep those to our Thursday evening video. And maybe next Sunday we'll do a live stream at this time again too. You never know. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah, take care of yourselves too.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you ever need to chat, we're on Instagram, send us a message. We're on Facebook, send us a message. We'll always joke around with everybody.
Yeah.
But until the next live stream or vlog. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I have to actually stand up and turn it off.
Not bye. We'll see you in a second.
Bye.
Bye.